And so those burdens will be put to rest, and we could just be friends in the afterlife. Well, you might as well continue that going into this final fight.
Yeah, for real. Also, Drago,
Anyway.
sorry for interrupting you before, bro. My bad, bro. My bad.
I suppose. Yeah. Sorry, what?
I was saying Drago. I left already. But yeah. Sorry about that, bro. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Anyway, we should probably go back to the topic of like this current Boruto arc, which is what I've been talking, which I mean, Oodie and Kamui have been asking my thoughts on. One thing that I find completely pointless is the fact that Boruto's Flying Thunder Guard isn't actually the Flying Thunder Guard. It's actually this entirely new jutsu, which I feel like, okay, if it's something different, name it something different. Not name it.
Wait, it's actually different.
Thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
They specifically clarify that it is. They achieve the same effect, but they go about it different ways.
Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that. It feels as if, okay, this is what I don't like about Naruto. It never delves deep into actually how jutsus are created and where people learn them. That's what pisses me off sometimes about Naruto. Because I want to know okay, if you're gonna give Boruto the flying Raijin, right? Even though I think Naruto should have got it, right? With delusionalism in my head right now, thinking that.
Yeah.
At least tell me. Yeah. At least tell me how. At least give me like, okay, so they found it out in a scroll, or Koshin Kojo had found out and they recreated it into the actual thing. I don't want it to be like some unique thing for Boruto, because then it deludes Minato's actual flying Raijin. That's literally what it does. And then if Boruto manages to improve the flying Raijin quotation mark.
It's actually worse. Minato's is they just basically say Minato is better.
No. That's not what I mean. I mean, if Boruto manages to get better than Minato, it will just delude Minato's actual jutsu. Minato. So that's what I don't like about it. And then it's like Boruto special as well. Just say Boruto doesn't have to create his own jutsu to be special. That's the thing.
Well, okay. About that though, like hypothetically though, if Boruto just learned the right, well, for example, does Minato being better at flying Raijin diminish the fact that Tobirama made the jutsu? No, it's just the next generation improving upon it. So if Boruto could just do the same to Minato, I don't think that affects anything, personally. And in this case, they're just actively saying, first of all, they explain how Boruto learned it, but they're still saying, yeah, you're just not, like, Minato's is better.
Well, it's more like a different Boruto learned it, and they basically gave this Boruto all the notes that a different timeline's Boruto.
Yes, like how Boruto figured out in the future, he gets it now, blah, blah, blah. But they're still saying Minato's is better.
But eventually it won't. That's the thing. You know how the series works. That's the annoying part.
Yeah, but I'd say the biggest issue I have with this is that more casual audience, I think, will be a bit like confused. Like, wait, isn't this Minato's thing? And like, wait, it's not. It's like you should have just done it as the Flying Thunder Guard and just leave it at that, not make it anything more complicated. And just like, or at least if you wanted to make it the same jutsu and added these new stuff, say that's a more improved version over Minato's, because then it's like works the whole new generation surpassing the old thing at least. You could have done that, but yeah. But unfortunately, no, they just did this complicated thing.
Look, I'll say this. If Boruto can do the flying Raijin better than Minato, fine. But the flying Raijin, not the actual a new version, and it's way better than Minato's. Or like something like the flying Raijin. That's just silly in my opinion. And then if Boruto gets better than Minato with it, then Minato with a similar jutsu.
Or if you're going to do like a new Uitsi teleportation jutsu, don't call it the same jutsu as Minato.
Yes, definitely. That as well. Without a doubt. But I was on changing topics for actually no. Ood, go ahead. You probably have a topic in your mind, don't you?
Yeah.
Oodie had the BRB for a minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
You need to move on to something else. I thought he said Oodie something, but Oodie's gone.
I'll say something.
I mean, it's basically what the pain arc
write
was.
the characters first.
Yeah. It doesn't count. They all came back.
That said, speaking of comments, I want to read the Jonathan Oliver ones down.
Go ahead.
So there's 3 of them. The last one's the biggest one. So he says, Killer Bee in the war makes no sense. Madara extract the tail beast makes no sense with Killer Bee. Well, I mean, no offense, but they do explain how he survived. You forgot to change the title of the video to Naruto story makes no sense. That's funny. And this is this one I don't understand. Boruto flying Raijin is more logical. Minato's flying Raijin is illogical.
Prove that,
Jonathan,
prove that.
Please try to back that up.
Prove that.
Because if you point to the Boruto manga, it's only saying Minato's is better.
Prove that. Jonathan Oliver, prove that. I will literally debate you on this, and I'll make you come into the stream. Honestly, I do not care.
You know, actually, Jonathan, are you done your exams yet? That you've been doing for the last 10 years? How many exams do you take a day?
Okay, continue with the questions. Jonathan Oliver's scared. Go ahead.
Well, that's the last of Jonathan Oliver's chats for now, but...
Okay, thank you, Jonathan Oliver. You make
because you mentioned how I wrote a lot for a couple of things for comments.
Okay.
So
real quick, I wanted to say before I forget to say it, and before we move on to anything else, this will take like 2 seconds, and you can keep finding your thing. Is that I don't remember if this is like stated somewhere, but for the Jonathan Oliver flying Thunder God thing, is Boruto actively using just a straight up objectively inferior version of the jutsu? Or is it just that it's the same jutsu, but Boruto is the inferior one at it? It's like hypothetically, Boruto gets better at it. Wait,
I mean, to answer the question, it's neither. Why does it keep saying stream field?
I'm watching your screen. I don't know why I was saying that.
Okay. It's neither. What Boruto did is essentially use his. So actually, you must just go to the chapter.
Because, like, for example, we would agree Tobirama and Minato were using the exact same jutsu. Minato was just better at it.
Yes. So I'm going to lead this into another kind of tangent, but what both Koji's basically saying is you used Otsutsuki space-time jutsu, the stuff that you already have been using with Karma, and using that, you can even see the swirls of the portal. You're basically just doing this thing, the thing that Jigen, Ishiki, all of them are using. You're just doing it really fast, and you're specifically teleporting to things you sense, because you put chakra on your kunai and whatnot. That's what Boruto's doing. It's just, he's doing Sasuke's Rinnegan portal jutsu, but to specific weapons.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, that just objectively doesn't make sense. Not only is he calling it Flying Thunder God and just saying it's the same jutsu as Minato, but that's just not how the portal works at all in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
We also don't see the
and
portal.
I mean, on one hand, I like naming it after Minato, blah, 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 but at the same time, you can name it in honor of Minato, but just do it differently. For example, instead of the Flying Thunder God, you can call it the Flying Lightning God. It's clearly inspired by Minato, but you're not pretending it's the same jutsu.
Well, but isn't it the same jutsu? Because look at what Koji's saying on the top left there, and that is the Flying whatever jutsu. Raijin jutsu. So what's he saying in the bottom
you
right?
It after him, the similar jutsu, blah, blah, blah. In truth, these are two different jutsu. You don't actually know the real Flying Raijin.
Okay, whatever, bro.
He's just wording it kind of dumb, but
that's stupid.
But yeah, so I think he should have just named it something very similar but slightly different. So again, Flying Lightning God is just an example of that idea. It could be the Flying Thunder God. I don't care. The Flying Thunder Angel. The point is, make it obviously inspired, but don't call it the same thing. Because that's like if Naruto's not going to call... Minato didn't call the Rasengan the Tail Beast Bomb. You know what I mean? Like...
This is just stupid. Because it's not like... That's not how the portal works anyways. You don't focus to go somewhere. Kawaki wasn't focusing to go to Naruto in a different dimension.
Well, those were just luck situations. Ishiki was specifically teleporting to certain places, like when he teleports from the Kashin-Koji fight to the Leaf Village.
Well, yeah, but again, even then...
Didn't focus that hard, but...
It's something you can do to teleport to a different dimension.
Yeah, and frankly, in the case of like Ishiki, It doesn't seem like he didn't need to sense anything. He just knew. Because he's Ishiki, I guess. He could just go wherever he wanted, willy-nilly.
Again, it doesn't seem like Kawaki's doing anything different either than the few times he does it, so.
But my little bit of annoyance is I'm fine with it being a basic Otsutsuki ability. The thing is, when Boruto did it, it was specifically karma. He wasn't doing it as an Otsutsuki, like Kawaki Masuke's chakra signature without karma. He was using karma space-time jutsu.
Yeah. And again,
Boruto is specifically not using karma.
Is there anything on this page saying that it's like instantaneous? Because again, when Kawaki does it in part 1, Boruto reacts to it by absorbing it with karma, and we just don't see it at all. The black things at all in Two Blue Vortex.
Yeah, you only see him here.
Is there anything that would indicate that it's just
you
faster?
freely and instantly?
It's not how that works. Stupid. It's not a black sphere then. He's not. Also, he has to go into it. Like, you can't just do that.
Kind of agree, but kind of whatever. But I agree. It's just not how this jutsu works. But
either way, it's the same functionality. The whole point is that he's worse at functionally using a teleport jutsu than Minato. But I think that's less of the jutsu itself and more of Boruto, in my opinion, even if it's a different jutsu. I'm just going to say the jutsus are relative because they're performing the same function.
Yeah, I mean, he made it into a similar jutsu.
I would say it's possible Boruto could even improve to surpass Minato at being the teleport guy. Because Minato, yeah, he can like sense his like location or whatever of the tags or whatever, but he can't use that effectively in combat with other people. Because if other people tell him to teleport somewhere, he's not going to know. Unlike Boruto, who can like, oh, Koji's like, oh, teleport to the star. Well, Minato can't do that. Boruto can with his.
Well, to be fair, Minato could just wrap the ceiling tag on different weapons. Like, he chose to just use the same kunai, but like, he could have just chosen a shuriken versus star versus whatever. Like, he could do that.
I know. I'm saying the way he did use it, like, as we've already seen, not like a hypothetical future version.
But Minato also just has a different fighting style in general. Like, he fought solo for the most part and just did it himself kind of thing. But
that's how Boruto could, like, surpass Minato by using it with others. But in the same regard, if that's happening in front of the enemies who can also pick up on that...
Yeah, they can just see
it could be the
triangle and know where he's going to go.
Yeah, like Koji says, teleport to star, and Jura's launching an ash bone at the star before Boruto even teleports to it. Something like that. Like,
yeah. They could use it for misdirection, though. But anyway, my complaint is going to be this, though. Boruto, since training with Sasuke, stopped using karma. Around a time with Sasuke. We don't know specifically when. It was around the time with Code. He doesn't say the specifics of the exact second, but it was around at the time Code took Sasuke and made him a tree. Boruto is afraid to use karma since then. Koji is foreseeing a future where Boruto learns Otsutsuki teleportation, but how? Boruto is not only trying not to use Otsutsuki abilities, but he only has ever used this via karma, which he won't use. How did Boruto learn? Even in this era, the Koji can tell him, but how did Boruto learn to do this? Yeah. He could only use it with karma, which he won't use.
I mean...
He just told Boruto, oh, just use it without karma, and he just snapped the fingers, did it.
So... that could speak to... well, first of all, he's using 10 directions early in the timeline. He uses it before the last time Boruto uses Flying Raijin, so he technically does see... or not Flying Raijin, but like this portal thing. So he does see Boruto teleport everyone back to the leaf after Ishiki. He just does see that. He knows Boruto can do this. He could...
but again, he's using karma when he does that.
Yes. He could just be somehow referencing that and just saying it wrong. I don't know.
No, but again, okay, but let's just say that's what he's doing. How is Boruto using it with this jutsu then? Because he's not using karma.
He improved it.
No, he's using it as a regular Otsutsuki independent of karma, but Boruto's never done that.
Yeah, but it
He
could just
learned
be
to
like
do
a
it.
fully fledged Otsutsuki thing, because didn't Jigen do it without his karma activated at some points?
I think he always used karma to do it.
What about like I don't think so, because the very first time he teleports, I guess the
No,
very first time he teleports out of Kawaki's karma, he's not making the black portal, is he? Was that different when he teleported out
It
of
makes
Kawaki's
a portal,
karma?
but it comes
makes
out of
a portal.
Kawaki's hand. But either way, what always happens
Yeah.
is the Otsutsuki's, every time they do the space-time jutsu, the Otsutsuki's stone tablet symbol appears on their hand every time. And their karma, it's like related to the karma. It'll be the blue pattern from Boruto and red for Kawaki and Jigen. But like it just makes the Ishiki symbol, for example. Like it's doing something to the karma every time.
I mean, you're not gonna like this answer, but I could imagine Ikimoto would give this answer if he was asked this in an interview. Well, because Boruto's activating the portal so quickly and deactivating it, it's the same for the karma. It's activating so quickly and deactivating. It's like it's not even used at all. It's like an instant.
Boruto in character wouldn't do it though. Especially in the training time leading up to it.
I think he would if Koji assured him that nothing couldn't go wrong because it's too quick for something to go wrong.
I don't think Boruto would take that risk. He's just too afraid. The point.
Yeah, but this is Ikimoto's version of Boruto.
I suppose, but I mean, you already know. I don't like the whole karma, the Otsutsuki abilities from the DNA separate from karma, even though everything's supposed to come from karma, blah, 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 and the karma is extracted, but it's not extracted because it's in the karma seal, but it's extracted, but it's not on you because you have to use the karma seal. I don't like it.
Yeah, and
One
the
or the
same
other.
thing of like Boruto being mostly, yet fully fledged, yet 83% Otsutsuki.
Exactly. Like, I don't like that. Just... I prefer it just all in the karma. You can't do any of this without karma. Boruto is not using Otsutsuki abilities right now because he doesn't want to use karma, but then when he fights Kawaki and he's using karma, then he can use Otsutsuki abilities.
Yeah.
So no flying for him. Sorry, no flying for Boruto. He's going to get around Mitsuki's snake some other way.